As you do your first few bulks and cuts, you're going to carry with yourself some assumptions or misconceptions that you only really discover you were wrong after you finish them. The first assumption is that you only need to lose a few pounds in your cutting phase. When you gain weight and you maintain that body weight for a bit, there's a point when you get used to how you look. It becomes the new you, the normal you. Because change is slow, you never get to see the contrast of the transformation. Therefore, change is unnoticeable. Maybe 25% body fat is the new normal for you. You did a bulk and you overestimated the amount of muscle you gain, while underestimating the amount of fat you gain. You might think that only losing 10 pounds will make you as lean as you want, or even shredded. It is only after you lose 10 pounds that you realize that you are nowhere near the leanness that you thought you would get by just losing 10 pounds. Turns out that you need to lose more weight than you thought you had to. Cutting is not pretty to do. In fact, many people struggle with losing weight, even if losing weight is easier and faster than gaining muscle. You only need to look at the amount of useless products that are always promoted, or even the production of drugs for weight loss. When you combine the unpleasantness of a cutting phase with the overestimation of muscle and underestimation of fat, it is no wonder that people think that by losing a few pounds you will get really lean. You will wish for that to be the case, but for most of the time, it is not. The second assumption is that your fat will not suddenly disappear if you gain muscle. I think many skinny fat men think that by gaining muscle, their fat will suddenly disappear. It is true that muscle significantly changes how fat looks in your body, but just because it looks differently, it doesn't mean that you have less fat. If you have a belly, it doesn't matter how much muscle you build. It will not disappear just because you gain muscle. At some point, if you want to get rid of that fat, you will need to cut, to willingly be in a calorie deficit, to consume less calories than needed. The problem is the dilemma of skinny fat. Do you bulk or cut? Because both have trade-offs. Cutting will be better for somebody that needs consistent feedback and reward for his exercise. It will give him a clean slate to start building muscle and look lean. On the other hand, losing weight is neither easy nor pretty, and it can be very overwhelming for somebody who is starting to exercise. On top of that, if you have no muscle build, then you will only benefit from the fat loss. Bulking will be better for somebody who is willing to not look good in the beginning, who tries to build the muscles first, and when he cuts, he will look awesome. On the other hand, you might gain more fat from the calorie surplus. In the end, it is just a matter of preference. You will need both cut and bulk at some point. The third assumption is that it will take longer than you think. You might have set a date to end your cut or your bulk, and on that exact date, you will find out that it will take longer than you thought it would. The date was set with a target, to lose a certain amount of weight or to gain it, and you will find out that the date was simply too short, and the shorter the date is, the harder it will be to stick to the cut or bulk. Better than specific dates is to use a range that varies in months. That way you take in consideration the faulty estimation of your thoughts and the margin of error that you could have made, while taking away pressure from a specific day. The fourth assumption is that counting calories is always reliable. How do you test if an assumption is wrong? By experience. Losing 10 pounds will not make you look as shredded as you think it will. To test it out, you only need to lose 10 pounds. In the same way, calorie counting is more like calorie assumptions. Counting calories is always taken as the way for obese people to realize how much they are really eating. But obese people can even count calories to self-sabotage and delude themselves. If your mind is faulty, can you expect the measurement, even with reliable tools, to be helpful? Their estimations on their maintenance calories might be wrong. Their estimation on their deficit might be wrong. They might not really count all the snacks or all the amount of food they are eating precisely, but the wrong estimation will be taken as correct to them, and they will find every single obstacle as proof that they are different from everybody else, that they are obese because they cannot control whatever makes them obese. And when they face the objective truth of a scale, they will not realize that the estimation is wrong, but they will believe that to be a sign that they were correct, that even in a calorie deficit, they cannot lose weight or fat. When you count calories, you are making a bunch of numbers in your head. How do you know they are correct or precise? Just because the phone tells you so. The only way to find out is through a scale. It is that simple. If your weight goes up on a weekly basis, then you are in a calorie surplus. If your weight goes down, then you are in a calorie deficit. All my weight gain and loss has been done without counting calories. I'm not saying that counting calories is useless. Having an estimation of the calories per 100 grams is really useful. I'm saying that you shouldn't always trust your calorie estimations because you can be wrong. The scale will never lie to you unless it is damaged. It is the most reliable feedback that you can have when losing or gaining weight. Do you see the pattern now? All these assumptions make a cutting phase or bulking not look as difficult or as time-consuming that they really are. You want to believe that you only need to lose 10 pounds to be really lean because you don't like the idea that you might have less muscle than you think, and losing weight is not pretty. You want to believe that by simply having muscles, your belly and your fat will magically make an exchange with your muscles in your body and you will suddenly be lean just because you build muscle. You want to believe that a shortcut can be made, that cutting or bulking will be really fast. You want to believe that you can count every single calorie that you consume with perfect precision, because that way you feel in control. But the problem of thinking that things will go easy and short is that when it becomes hard and long, you will give up. It is better to think that it is hard. That way when it is hard, you will not disappoint your expectations and you will come mentally prepared.